One of the biggest myths that I am consistently hearing is that Colorado is completely unaffordable in 2026. And while it's true that home prices have gone up significantly over the last several years, that doesn't mean buying here is out of reach. The key is knowing which cities offer the best value for your budget, and then even further, knowing the neighborhoods within those cities that are going to give you an even better value for your budget. Today, I'm breaking down where you can still find affordable homes in Colorado, what you'll get for your money, and how to decide which area is the best fit for your lifestyle. So, can you actually afford Colorado? Is Colorado affordable? And if so, where are we seeing the affordable home prices, and why would you want to move to these areas? Okay, so to hop into this video, we have to talk about what affordable means in Colorado. And I want to take it a step further because I believe that what matters is what is affordable to you. There are people that I talk to that when I say that home prices are $500,000 in Westminster, Colorado, they say, wow, that's such incredible pricing. I didn't know that you could find a property for that low in Colorado. And then I talk to people and I say the exact same thing, and they say, that is just outrageous. That is simply not affordable. And so we need to have a conversation about what is affordable to you and who you are and what your situation is. Because if you are an investor and you're wanting to invest long term and you're wanting to get into this type of fix and flip type of situation, then that's one thing, and prices are completely different if I'm talking to you about investing in a property. But if you're going in on a property that is going to be a good fit for you and your family and your mom and dad and potentially another part of the family, and it's going to serve as a generational wealth builder, then that's a completely different conversation. And if you are somebody that is looking to retire here on a fixed income, that's a different conversation. If you're looking to retire here with cash after selling a property, that's a different conversation. And so truly, I could go into this forever in all different ways, but affordability is what you can afford. And once we are clear on that, once we are clear on your budget and what your goal is here, that's how we start matching you with the areas and the right neighborhoods and the right homes for you. We don't just start saying, where is the absolute cheapest place that I can buy a home in Colorado? Affordability is going to be different for everybody. You don't want to start just going for the absolute cheapest, most affordable when it comes to budget areas, because those areas might not be sustainable for the type of life that you're looking to live. So if you have questions, if you want help figuring out the right area for you to live based on what your budget is, definitely reach out. I'd love to help you. So with all of that being said, I do want to hop into some of the most affordable areas that I would say make up Colorado. And starting off, Colorado Springs is going to be a great place for you to get great value and a great bang for your buck. Colorado Springs has the mountains, you have the Garden of the Gods, and so you have great recreation, and you see it. You see the views of those mountains. They're beautiful. They're green in a way more than the Rocky Mountains that you see when you're in Denver. Those are a little bit more blue, but anyways, Colorado Springs, great area for recreation. There is the college over there. There's tons of things to do. There's the historic walkable downtown area. There's tons of businesses. There's a lot of people in Colorado Springs. There is a ton of people in Colorado Springs, and I'll put it up on the screen because I can't even quote myself on it, but there's a ton of people in Colorado Springs. There's going to be a lot of people, but you also get bigger homes, more square footage, a bigger yard, and more bang for your buck, like I said, when it comes to the real estate in Colorado Springs. And so if you're looking for a good place to live that is not going to be outrageously priced and where you can get a great home for $500,000 or less, but you still want to be super close to all of the recreation in the mountains and hikes and biking and all of that, then Colorado Springs just might be the perfect place for you to get your foot in the door, buy a property. And a lot of people that move to Colorado Springs, they are super happy there. And I've helped a couple people that have moved to different parts of Colorado and they end up going back to Colorado Springs. So people really love it. I will say that there is quite a bit of a military presence there, and so if you are military, this might already be one of the ones that you're looking at. And it's just more affordable. Everything is going to be more affordable. It's way more in line, I would say, to the prices in New Mexico and Texas. The more that you get, the further south that you get in Colorado, the less expensive the real estate prices go. Okay, the next place that I want to talk about is going to be Northern Colorado. And Northern Colorado actually has quite a few hidden gems that are going to be quite affordable. When we are talking about how the state of Colorado is made up, we have Pueblo, and then you travel north and you end up in like the Colorado Springs metro area. You continue going north and you end up in the Denver metro area. And then once you hit Longmont, that's when you're in the Boulder County area. And I would say that it has its own expensiveness. It's got its own price point because it's in Boulder County. But then once we get past that into places like Weld County and Larimer, you definitely have way more affordable properties. And we're talking about Greeley, Evans, Colorado, Windsor, Severance, Tinmouth, their Olt, Colorado. Even Loveland is going to have some pretty affordable properties, but we are talking closer to the like 450,000 and under for a single family home. So if you are somebody that does want to be closer to the mountains and you don't necessarily want to feel like you're, more towards New Mexico and almost in the desert, it feels like in Pueblo specifically, then Northern Colorado might be a really great option for you because we could potentially get you right in between Fort Collins and Horsetooth Reservoir and the Rocky Mountains and Boulder County, so that you have really great proximity to everything that you need to be close to, but you don't have to pay those really expensive prices that you have to when you're close to the city or when you're very close to the mountains. So Northern Colorado is going to have quite a bit of affordable areas, and if you have questions, definitely reach out. Okay, next we are talking about Thornton, Colorado, and Commerce City. And I would even throw in Aurora because there are going to be places in all three of these cities that are going to be great for families, great for young professionals, great for retirees, beautiful master plan communities that are centered around like a coffee shop. There's one that's centered around golf courses. There's a lot that are centered around parks. Thornton actually has a ton of parks and a ton of shopping, and all of them are very conveniently located not only to Denver, but also the Denver International Airport, and also all of the other cities that are north and south of them. So if you're looking for the next step up on affordability and you need to be close to the city, Thornton, Commerce City, or Aurora, Colorado is probably going to be a really great place for you to focus on. If you have questions, definitely reach out because all three of these areas are completely different. And so all three should not be a fit for you, but it's a good starting place. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Ratliff. I am a Colorado realtor and I specialize in helping people relocate to the state. So if you have questions, if you would like help navigating the relocation process yourself, definitely reach out. All of my information is on the screen right here. And then make sure that you check out the description below. There are a lot of links and resources for you to dive into. There's a relocation guide, home searches, there's so much information. Just remember that the best value that I can be for you is by hopping on the phone, having a conversation, getting clear on who you are, what's important to you, and where you want to be and what you want to do here, and then matching the cities and the neighborhoods within those cities to you so that we can get focused on the right area for you to be in Colorado. Okay, the last one, that like specific area that I want to talk about is going to be Monument. And Monument, I do want to shout out quickly because lately I've been showing a lot more properties in the Colorado Springs area, the Monument area, Centennial, Littleton, those spots that are south of Denver. And here's the thing, when we're talking about Monument, it's not going to be as affordable as the other places that I told you about, but you get larger lots, larger homes, more mature neighborhoods, and it feels like you are in the mountains and like you're further out and it's quiet and like you're in your own little Colorado oasis, but you're super close to Colorado Springs. You're 15-20 minutes from Colorado Springs and very, very close to everything that you need to have access to, but you're able to be in this area where there's a lot more wildlife and it feels way quieter. And so if you're somebody that doesn't want to be around a lot of traffic, if you are retiring, or you just want a slower pace of life than Colorado Springs, Monument is still going to give you a really great bang for your buck. It is going to be more expensive, but that might be a place that is worth pushing your budget for. And again, definitely reach out, because Monument is not the only one that is going to be like this, but it truly just depends on who you are, what part of the state you're looking at, and these are some of the areas that are still going to be affordable for you to buy a home in Colorado in 2026. All right, so new construction. Let's have a conversation about new construction, because right now, with where we're at in the real estate market in July, August of 2026, we are seeing high interest rates. And because of that, there are a lot of people that are turning to new builds and new construction because of the incentives and the interest rate incentives. And so yes, this is a great opportunity. You could definitely get into a home at a great interest rate and not have a huge significant monthly payment as you would if you were at the 6.5% interest rate. But I will say that just because it's new construction doesn't mean that there are not any problems with it. We definitely still want to make sure that we're getting those inspections done before you move in. Not when the warranty is about to expire. It's before you move in. It's before you move in. Oh my gosh, that is a hill I will die on. And we just want to make sure that you are okay with potentially living around construction. And are you okay with living in a neighborhood that is not as mature? And are you okay with living in a neighborhood that does not have mature trees that offer shade? And are you okay with living in an area that potentially has a smaller yard and is potentially on top of somebody else's home where you're really looking into each other's windows? And are you okay with potentially being in a metro district taxing area where your taxes are going to go up as they need to add more infrastructure to the area? And this is schools, hospitals, parks, like the whole nine. You have to pay for it, and it's through your property taxes. And so there are a lot of people that new construction is great for, but I'm a great negotiator, and this is a buyer's market, and the interest rate is not set in stone. And so we can actually negotiate for the seller to pay for concessions on your behalf to buy down your interest rate and get you a lower monthly payment, even if it's a resale property that is not new construction. So new construction is a great option for quite a bit of people, and there are quite a bit of beautiful master planned new construction communities. But then there's a lot of communities that are just like right on top of each other that I feel are going to be very hard to sell, that have very high taxes, no shade. And it's really a conversation to have, because if you're buying a home somewhere that you don't necessarily want to stay forever, is somebody going to want to buy the home that you're in when you go to sell it? Or are they going to say the taxes are too high, the lot is too small, we're looking into each other's yard, there's barking dogs everywhere and we're on top of each other? These are all real conversations to have. And so if you want help navigating whether or not you should be looking at new construction or resale, and if you should be looking at new construction, what communities to actually be focusing on and what builders are good, reputable builders, definitely reach out, because I can provide quite a bit of insight when it comes to the new construction process of buying a home in Colorado. I want to get into some common mistakes that I see a lot of budget-friendly and budget-focused buyers making, and that is going to be shopping only on Zillow. You need to reach out to somebody that can give you all of the properties that are available, and potentially off-market properties and just different opportunities that you are not aware of. Zillow is not your best friend. I'm your best friend, and I can set you up on a home search that is going to match exactly what you're looking for, so that you're not falling in love with communities and homes and areas that you can't afford right now, because that can be very defeating. The other thing that I will say is that a lot of budget conscious buyers are going to ignore the commute times. They're just going to focus on the least expensive area and the cheapest property, and then they end up stuck in the vehicle constantly, and they end up selling the home, losing money. And that was the whole reason why you wanted to do that, was to avoid spending too much money. So you need to focus on the commute times. The other thing is that they only look at one city. They say, what is the most affordable city in Colorado? And then they just focus on that one only. And that's not the game. We need to focus on where is going to be a match for the lifestyle and the life that you want to live, because it doesn't matter if it's affordable. If you're not happy there, if you're not thriving there, you're going to move, and that's going to cost money, energy, and time. I also want my budget friendly and budget conscious buyers to just keep in mind, stop waiting for the prices to drop. We just had a 10 to 15% market correction in almost all of Colorado, and we are also in a buyer's market. And so this is the time for you. You have so much negotiation power, and it doesn't matter the purchase price. The monthly payment is what matters, and the terms are what matters. And we can get some really favorable terms for you and negotiate an incredible deal now. And I can't promise that in 6 months. I can't promise that in a year. And we're at the bottom of the market now. These properties are starting to go like this again. And it's not the 16 or 20% that we saw over COVID times, but it is, 1 to 3%. And it's starting to go up and up and up, and it's going to continue. And so stop waiting for prices to drop. Please reach out so that I can show you how we can actually manipulate the numbers and how we can actually negotiate for you to get a great deal right now in this current Colorado real estate market. All right, so my advice for all of my buyers that are moving to Colorado is that you need to sit down and you need to get clear on what your must-haves are, what the non-negotiables are, and what the negotiables are. What are the things that you can live without? What are the things that you can't live without? And then I also want you to think long term. It's so important for you to think long term, because that also helps us to decide what neighborhood and what city you should be looking at, and whether or not we're looking at a 2-year resale potential, a 5-year resale potential, 7 years. Like what is going on? What are your goals? And what are we looking at long term? That's so important. And I help people move to Colorado every single day. And I work with so many people that are saying the same things over and over and over again. And the reason why I made this video is because I'm having the conversation time and time again on price and budget. Budget is very important, and we do want to be doing a budget so that you know like cost of living and what you're looking at realistically when it comes to living here. But the price of the property is not the most important thing. The most important thing is whether or not you're going to be happy where you're at. And if you're not, you're going to sell that house, you're going to take a loss, and it's not going to be a good experience. And we want to make sure that the city that you're ending up, the neighborhood that you're ending up, the community that you're ending up is one that you're going to love life, that you're going to enjoy life, and that is going to help lead to an increase in your life, because that's why you're making such a big decision. And so if you would like help on this journey, if you would like help navigating the process of relocating to Colorado, if you would like help figuring out where you should be focusing on and why, and also the price points and the different information about the housing market, the job market, all of that jazz, definitely reach out. I would love to help you. And again, all of those resources are going to be in the description below, and make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next video.